Hello everybody. I hope you're all doing well and all preparing for the NID exam, which is just around the corner. You barely have like 5 to 6 weeks to prepare for the exam. Now today I'm here to give you 4 main tips for the NID exam. Now I've been suggesting this to my students. Now I want to give this to you, all of you, so that you can prepare well for this exam. And now these 4 tips I used to do when I was preparing for my NID exam. Now that helped me to secure an All India rank 14 in NID 2016. Now let's get to the point. What are the tips for NID exam? So when you're preparing for an NID exam, it is very important to carry a sketchbook with you everywhere you go. Now, believe it or not, I used to carry my sketchbook everywhere I went. Like if I was in the metro station, if I was sitting a park, if I was at a coffee shop, if I was meeting somebody, I always had a sketchbook, and I used to sketch a lot, and I used to compose people in different scenarios. I used to make different scenarios, like maybe in a coffee shop, in a market, in a metro station, inside the metro, on the platform, in the railway station. So there are different scenarios and there are different people, different kind of people in different scenarios. For example, if you go to the railway station, you find small kiosks, you find the porters, you find different age groups, you find different people waiting for the trains. There's so much of reference out there which would definitely help you in the exam. So that was tip number 1. Carry your sketchbook everywhere you go and keep sketching. Tip number 2, wherever you go, make sure that you are aware of your surroundings. You are present in that moment. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that whenever you go out, or you go to a market, or even go to an ATM to withdraw some money from the ATM, make sure that you notice those surroundings around you. Notice the things that can be better in that situation. Notice the flaws. If something is not written properly, how else could it have been written, or how else could it have been portrayed or conveyed to the viewers, or especially the general public in the scenario where you're going to an ATM. So general people use that. So how can you convey the information in a better way? So if you keep doing this till the day of your NID exam, you would have analyzed so many scenarios that you would definitely not be at a loss of ideas. You won't be falling short of ideas in the exam. So pay attention to this. Wherever you go, analyze the situation and come up with a creative solution to the problems that you've identified. Tip number 3. Now pick up any object in a day and come up with unconventional uses. Now, what is an unconventional use? You all know, you've been preparing. It is, if you are using a spoon, you usually use it to eat. Now, if you want to come up with unconventional uses, it could be anything other than eating. So that is what you have to do. You have to pick one object every day and come up with unconventional uses. Now, make sure that you are sketching all the while, so it is very important. If you are doing all of these things, you also are carrying that sketchbook and representing all these solutions in your sketchbook, in your personal sketchbook. Now that can come in handy even in your interview round. So make sure you do this. So when you are doing one object a day, what I would suggest you is pick one object from a different category every day. So for example, if you do a spoon today, tomorrow you do a stapler. Day after that, you pick something from your storeroom. Then the day after that, you can just take up some stationery, something from your stationery. So keep doing that until you run out of objects, and this will definitely help you. The 4th tip, the most important thing that I tell my students: do not get intimidated by your question. Never get intimidated by your question. It's okay if you come across a question in the exam where you do not know what to do. It's okay. You have done your bit. You have prepared well. Sometimes it also happens that you do everything for the preparation, yet there is something in the exam that you have no clue about. It's okay to do that, because these exams are designed in such a way that they do not repeat the questions. They might give you similar type of questions, but they don't repeat questions. So it's okay to do that. The important thing here is that you need to stick to the basics. What do I mean by that? You need to understand the question first. For example, there might be some words in the question that you do not understand. Now, how do you go about it? So there was one particular question in the exam when I was appearing for NID. I didn't understand the meaning of one word that I'm forgetting right now, but I understood the context of it. So I could deduce that it was a positive word and not a negative word because I understood the context. So that really helped me to stay on the right track. So understand the question, break it down into small parts and understand the question. Then you will not go wrong with your solution. And it's important to not get intimidated. The moment you are getting intimidated, you are putting a lot of pressure here. And if you put yourself under tremendous pressure in your exam, it is not going to help you. You have to stay calm to be creative. So that was all about the tip number 4. And these were the 4 tips that I wanted to share with you guys today. So go ahead and practice these things and do let me know how it works for you in the comments below. I would like to introduce you all to the NID 6-day workshop for bachelors and masters in design. Doesn't matter which domain you are applying to, this workshop will cater to the most of them. This is designed in such a way that we cover most of the topics, the important ones for sure, even domain specific content, in a matter of 6 days. Now on day 1, you'll have lectures on human figures, perspective, composition, birds and animals, and scale and proportion. On day 2, you'll have visualization, how to see, and logo design. On day 3, you'll have storyboarding, facial expressions, design principles and elements of design. And day 4 will give you creativity, story writing, color theory, poster design, and stamp design. Now day 5 would be a little different for bachelors and masters. So the students who are appearing for bachelors in design, they'll have exercises with reference sketches. Now for master students, we have a live session on day 5 in which we will talk about product design, smart products, we'll talk about user analysis, we'll talk about problem identification, market and brand understanding. Now day 6 is going to be a live session in which we will also have time for all the doubts that you might have, which you would be dropping in to us during the 6 days of the workshop, and we will clear it on the 6th day. And along with that, we will talk about infographics, we'll talk about pictographs, icons, interpreting an image, feelings and emotions. So this is how this whole workshop is going to be like. Now, important things to note here are that every topic that we talk about will have an assignment along with it. Now you will have to solve those assignments, and you will definitely gain a lot out of this workshop if you follow this schedule religiously. Now we have limited seats, so I would request you all, whoever wants to join in for this workshop in the first batch, guys, do not hesitate, do not wait for your buddy to sign in. Do sign in, because last time we had to close down the batches because we, like I said, have limited seats. And not only that, we're going to give you the access to this content for 2 weeks this time, because we heard the feedback. I have requested the students before in the previous workshops for the feedback, and most of them said that 1 week was a less time for this content and the access could have been extended, and we heard it and we are going to extend it for 2 weeks this time. So you'll have these sessions, all these lectures happening every day until 6 days, and then after that you have another week just for you to revise and go through it again. So guys, we heard you, and all of this we have priced it at just $6.99, which is including taxes. So guys, what are you waiting for? Register for the workshop and I'll see you in the class. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for more videos.